If you have one or more first-generation Arcade1Up cabinets like me, at some point you've probably wished they had an adjustable volume control. As it turns out, installing one is easy to do with a single part and a little soldering. My Space Invaders cabinet is a good example. Even on the low volume setting, the sounds are still quite loud. And while that's fine while other games are being played in my arcade, if you're playing by yourself, it can be a bit much. To add adjustable sound, I ordered a 1000 ohm 3-terminal audio type B potentiometer from Amazon. To install it, first remove the deck from the game. Then remove the plastic dust cover from the deck. I place the deck on two 1x2s to keep the joystick from hitting the bench top. When finished, the potentiometer attaches to the plastic dust cover to make it somewhat accessible. So I added a harness with JST plugs so the cover can still be removed from the deck. I didn't have any 2-lead JST plug and socket sets when I did the project, so I used a 4-wire set instead and simply removed the outer 2 wires from the parts. You can order JST male and female pairs from Amazon when you order the potentiometer. Before soldering any of the connections to the harness, I slipped two 3/8 inch long pieces of shrink tubing onto the leads. The potentiometer has 3 terminals. For this project, you'll need the center one and one of the 2 outer terminals. I used the outer terminal, marked with the ohm symbol. To solder a lead, hold it in position with a pair of self-closing tweezers. Then, apply a bit of flux paste to it and the terminal. Next, melt a bit of solder onto the tip of the iron, then touch the tip to the terminal and wire. The solder will easily flow into place thanks to the flux. Repeat the process for the second wire. With the soldering complete, slip the small pieces of shrink tubing down over the terminals, then heat the material with the iron tip until it shrinks. The potentiometer splices in between one of the 2 wires connected to the speaker. Select one and then cut it at the halfway point. Strip the ends of the wires and then twist the leads from the JST harness to them. Solder them and then seal with more shrink tubing. To mount the potentiometer to the plastic dust cover, drill a 5/16 inch hole through the cover near but not directly over the speaker. The potentiometer has a small locator tab on one side of the housing to keep it from slipping when the knob is turned. Place the potentiometer in its mounting hole, then mark the location of the tab on the cover. Next, remove the part and drill an 1/8 inch hole in the cover for the locator tab. Test the fit of the potentiometer in the hole one last time and make sure that the tab is in its locator hole. Then slip a washer on top of the post and next thread the nut in place and tighten it with a pair of slip jaw pliers. With everything wired and installed, I plugged the JST connectors together and replaced the dust cover on the deck. Once I installed the deck back into the machine, I powered up the game. I then set the volume selector to full and adjusted the level with the potentiometer. It's easier to do this step with the back of the cabinet removed. After achieving a sound level I was happy with, I screwed the back in place and it was time to play some Space Invaders. As long as you can solder 2 wires together, this is an easy project that should take you about 30 minutes to complete. And if you've never soldered anything before, you can buy a basic soldering kit from places like Home Depot. With just a little bit of work and $10 in parts, I now have full control over the sound levels of this older Arcade1Up cabinet. I plan to do the same thing to other first-generation games in my collection, such as Golden Tee and Asteroids. For more easy Arcade1Up modification videos, check out my YouTube channel, Pop Art Studios. And watch for additional projects you can do to first-generation arcade cabinets coming soon.